Now the fun part, we can add some furniture and props to our scene. So the first thing, obviously I'm going to go to Cosmos, and I know that there are some stools in here that I want on this breakfast bar. So we'll go to 3D models, furniture, chairs, and there's these nice stools. I'm going to use this one. It's a little bit smaller than the bar stool, and bring that in. And let's rotate that. Now we can rotate it 180 and put it into position. But if I press A and turn off snaps, I do like to just offset these a little bit. It makes it look a little bit less CG. So they're not just everything's in straight lines, which can be a bit of a giveaway that things are 3D. Holding shift, I'll drag that across and make an instance. And again, just add a bit of variation to that. And then I also want to add some tiles to this back wall. So in the front view, let's go to create, box, and press S to turn on snaps. And I'll create a box size of that space in the front view. And in the top view, we can snap this to the back wall. And let's add some depth. So I'll put 1 centimeter in. And again, open up Cosmos. This time, let's go to materials, tiles, and let's add this nice tile to that area. Real world is on, and real world is on that box. So they're going to show up just fine. And if you do want to see your textures in the viewport, we can press M to open our material editor, and then we're going to use the pick material from object and select that. And let's just move that over here. And if you haven't got move children on, when you move something, it's just going to move that node on its own. So I like to keep that on just to keep things organized in here. And all we have to do is go to the texture we want displayed in our viewport, select it, and show shaded material in viewport. And there we can see our textures looking pretty good on that back wall. And I also want to add a shelf along here. So I'm going to snap that to the top of our fridge and drag that across here. That's snapped to the cooker. I don't want it that big, but we'll sort it out in a minute. Let's go right click, move, and let's move that to the back wall. In the modifier, let's make the height 25. And this length, let's just make that 3. And then let's pull that up and snap that to the top of the fridge. So we've got a shelf. And I also want to add a light here that shines down. So let's isolate the shelf and we'll maximize the viewport. And press P to go to perspective. And I'm also going to add 5 height segments and add an edit poly. And then I'll go to the top view, pressing T and then Z to zoom. So if you're ever in a position like this, Z is a really handy tool just to zoom the extents. Select the polygon. I'm just going to select these front 4 faces. I'm going to go to the front view, and this time holding Alt, deselect these guys. So now I only have these bottom ones selected, and I'm going to go to extrude, and I'm just going to extrude that by 2 centimeters and hit OK. P and Z, perspective and zoom, and there we can see our shelf. So let's add a material to this. I'm going to turn off polygon mode, open up Cosmos, and let's go to wood, and I'm going to apply this wood. And it's real world, but we have made some adjustments here. So if I press M on the keyboard, and let's select the material, and like we did with the tiles, I'm going to select that texture and show in viewport. And we can see the texture actually works quite nice on the bit that we didn't extrude, and then where we did is stretched down. So all we need to do is add a UVW map and change that to box, and that's all looking pretty nice. One last thing we can do here is add a chamfer, and let's crank that up to like 0.25 centimeters, and that's just softened up our shelf. So F4, and there's our shelf. So I'll unisolate that, and that's all looking pretty good.